Have you ever watched a construction project begin with great excitement? Perhaps it was a new community centre, or maybe it was your very own dream home. The plans looked perfect, the budget seemed reasonable, then slowly things started to change. Deadlines were missed. Costs began to climb higher and higher. This experience is unfortunately very common. It happens in small projects and large ones alike. The dream can quickly become a source of significant financial stress. Many people find themselves asking, why does this always happen? This problem of budgets spiraling out of control is not just a local issue. It is a global phenomenon. It affects nearly every type of construction. Think about massive infrastructure projects, new bridges, shiny airports, or sprawling public transport networks. So many of them end up costing far more than planned. The initial figures announced to the public often bear little resemblance to the final bill. The truth behind these overruns can be quite shocking. It is a persistent headache for governments, companies, and individuals. We see it happen time and time again, all across the world. The consequences of these budget overruns are far-reaching. The most obvious impact is, of course, financial. Unexpected costs can drain savings. They can lead to difficult financial decisions for families. For businesses, it can mean reduced profits or even project cancellation. But the damage goes beyond just money. Projects face significant delays. This causes frustration for everyone involved. Stress levels rise. Sometimes, trust between clients and contractors breaks down completely. The ripple effects can be felt throughout communities when public projects are impacted. My name is Daryna. I have spent over 15 years working in the construction industry. I have seen this problem from many different angles. I have witnessed the complexities and the frustrations firsthand. In this discussion, we are going to dive deep. We will explore exactly why construction projects so consistently go over budget. It is time to pull back the curtain. We need to understand the intricate reasons behind these financial surprises. Together, we will unpack the challenges and shine a light on this critical issue. Why do so many construction projects end up costing more than expected? Budget overruns are typically the result of a complex web of interconnected factors. One significant culprit is underestimation. Initial cost estimates can be too optimistic. Inflation and rising labor costs also play a role. Unforeseen problems during execution can further escalate costs. Understanding these factors is key to finding solutions. As I mentioned, I am Daryna. With over 15 years of hands-on experience in the construction sector, I have navigated these challenges. My goal here is to be your guide through this often confusing landscape. We will cut through the jargon and get to the heart of budget issues. This journey will equip you with valuable knowledge, so I invite you to continue this journey with me. Whether you are a homeowner, a student, or simply curious, there is something here for you. Understanding these complex dynamics is the first step toward positive change. Underestimation is a pervasive issue in construction budgeting, leading to cost overruns. Complexity and incomplete early-stage information are primary causes. Projects involve numerous variables and shifting elements. Initial estimates often miss these complexities. Historical data and outdated methods also contribute. Modern projects need adaptive, real-time methods. Addressing these issues is key to accurate budgeting. Optimism bias is another significant factor contributing to the problem of underestimation. This psychological phenomenon involves the tendency of individuals to be overly positive about the outcomes of their actions. In the context of construction, this means that project planners and stakeholders often expect things to go more smoothly than they actually will. This bias can lead to underestimating costs, timelines, and potential risks, resulting in budgets that are too low from the start. Optimism bias is particularly prevalent in large, high-stakes projects where there is a strong desire to see the project succeed. Planners might overlook or downplay potential obstacles, focusing instead on the most favourable scenarios. This can create a false sense of confidence in the initial estimates. When reality sets in and unforeseen challenges arise, the costs and timelines can quickly spiral out of control, far exceeding the original budget. The pressure to secure project approval can also exacerbate optimism bias. When pitching a project to stakeholders or funding bodies, there is often a tendency to present the most attractive financial picture. Lower budgets and shorter timelines can make a project seem more feasible and appealing. However, this can set unrealistic expectations from the outset. Once the project is underway, the gap between optimistic projections and actual costs becomes painfully apparent, leading to budget overruns. Mitigating optimism bias requires a cultural shift within the construction industry. It involves fostering an environment where realistic, even conservative estimates are valued over overly optimistic ones. This can be achieved through more rigorous risk assessments involving diverse perspectives in the planning process and encouraging open and honest communication about potential challenges. By acknowledging and addressing optimism bias, the industry can move towards more accurate and reliable budgeting practices. Stakeholder pressure is another critical factor that can lead to underestimation in construction projects. Stakeholders, including investors, clients, and regulatory bodies, often have high expectations and specific demands. Meeting these demands can create intense pressure on project planners to present favourable budgets and timelines. This pressure can lead to compromises in the accuracy of initial estimates as planners strive to align their projections with stakeholder expectations. One common scenario involves clients who have a fixed budget or tight financial constraints. Planners may feel compelled to adjust their estimates downward to fit within these constraints, even if doing so means underestimating the true costs. This can create a precarious situation where the project appears financially feasible on paper, but is set up for overruns once the real expenses start to accumulate. Balancing client demands with realistic budgeting is a delicate but crucial task. Political and public pressures can also influence budget estimates, particularly in publicly funded projects. Elected officials and public agencies may push for lower budget figures to gain public approval or to ensure the project fits within political agendas. This can lead to underestimation and a lack of transparency about the true costs involved. When the project inevitably exceeds these optimistic budgets, it can lead to public backlash and damage to the reputations of those involved. To address stakeholder pressure, it is essential to establish clear communication channels and set realistic expectations from the beginning. Educating stakeholders about the complexities and uncertainties inherent in construction projects can help manage their expectations. Additionally, involving stakeholders in the risk assessment process can provide them with a better understanding of potential challenges and the importance of accurate budgeting. By fostering a collaborative approach, planners and stakeholders can work together towards more realistic and achievable project outcomes. thorough risk assessment is crucial for accurate construction budgeting, but often overlooked. Identifying potential challenges and planning for their financial implications is essential. Without it, cost estimates are incomplete, leading to budget overruns. Many projects don't allocate enough time or resources for detailed risk assessment. Effective risk assessment needs ongoing updates and adjustments. Continuous monitoring and flexibility are essential. Incorporating diverse perspectives makes risk assessment more effective. Investing in detailed ongoing risk assessments can prevent budget overruns. Recognizing and preparing for potential challenges leads to successful project outcomes. Initial estimates often set the stage for construction projects. They create expectations and baselines for bids. Unrealistic estimates lead to flawed bids. This creates a challenging execution phase. The flawed estimate shapes the reality of the project. The construction industry is highly competitive. Multiple contractors bid for work, leading to fierce competition. This often results in bidding wars. Contractors undercut each other to win contracts. This can lead to unrealistic low bids. Low bids may cause financial struggles and project abandonment. Ultimately, it affects project success and client satisfaction. Even with detailed plans, construction sites can hold many surprises. These are unforeseen site conditions. Workers might discover unexpected rock formations or poor soil quality. They might uncover buried utilities. These discoveries can halt work and require changes. Issues can also arise with project design. Drawings might contain errors or omissions. These become apparent once construction is underway. Components might not fit as planned, or materials might be unavailable. Clients might request design changes. Changes disrupt workflow and add costs. Dealing with these conditions always costs money. It's not just the direct cost of materials or labor. There are also indirect costs. Delays can affect other activities. This is known as the ripple effect. Delayed foundation work affects framing. This pushes back electricians and plumbers. Managing delays adds complexity. Who pays for these costs can lead to disputes. Contractors argue these issues were not foreseeable. Clients may feel contractors should anticipate risks. A well-drafted contract is important. It should define handling unforeseen conditions, specify the process for change orders. Without clarity, disagreements escalate quickly. The ripple effect, subcontractor and supply chain headaches. Main contractors rarely do all the work themselves. They hire specialized subcontractors for various tasks. This introduces complexity and potential risk. The main contractor's performance depends on subcontractors. Supply chain volatility adds another challenge. Material prices can fluctuate dramatically. Availability issues can halt work. Contractors might pay for idle labor. These headaches are often outside their control. When plans crumble. The execution strain of poor estimates. Poor initial estimates place immense strain on contractors. They struggle to deliver quality within unrealistic budgets. This creates high pressure and potential conflicts. Cutting corners becomes tempting but dangerous. Safety and quality suffer, leading to bigger problems. Morale drops, productivity declines, and delays increase. Proper planning and accurate estimates are crucial. The weight of responsibility, contractor as the scapegoat. When a construction project veers off course, attention often turns to one party, the contractor. They are the public face of problems, bearing the weight of decisions made long before their involvement. Contractors operate under legally binding agreements, often absorbing risks and unforeseen challenges. This environment demands adaptability and constant problem solving under intense pressure. Their reputation hinges on successful projects, making future contracts harder to secure if issues arise. Navigating the regulatory maze and external pressures. The world of construction is not just about bricks and mortar, it is also about rules and regulations. Contractors must navigate an incredibly complex maze of building codes, safety standards, environmental laws, and local planning ordinances. These regulations ensure safety, worker protection, and minimal environmental impact. However, complying with this extensive framework adds complexity and cost. Keeping abreast of all applicable rules, which can vary by location and even change during a project's life cycle, is a substantial undertaking. Societal expectations regarding environmental protection and worker safety are continually evolving, generally towards higher standards. This often translates into new or more stringent regulations for the construction industry. Beyond formal regulations, construction projects can attract considerable attention from local communities and various interest groups. Contractors may need to address community concerns about noise, traffic disruption, or the final appearance of the project. Public meetings and consultations can become part of the project landscape. Managing this intricate web of bureaucratic interactions can sometimes feel like a full-time job in itself for the contractors team. When a construction project is funded using taxpayer money, the dynamics change significantly. The level of scrutiny surrounding these projects intensifies dramatically. Public infrastructure such as new schools, hospitals, vital roadways, or public transport networks are built to serve the entire community. Every decision made, every contract awarded, and every dollar spent can become a subject of public discussion, media attention, and political debate. The media often takes on a watchdog role when it comes to publicly funded construction. Journalists and commentators closely monitor progress, and any hint of delay or cost escalation can quickly become a prominent news headline. This sustained media attention places immense pressure on both the public agencies commissioning the projects and the contractors responsible for executing the work. Public officials and project leaders must be prepared to explain their decisions and justify any deviations from the original plans. The consequences of significant cost overruns or prolonged delays on major public projects can extend into the political arena. Elected officials who championed a project may face criticism from their constituents or political opponents if things go wrong. Communicating the inherent complexities of large construction projects to the general public is a persistent challenge. Building and maintaining public trust in these circumstances requires clear, consistent, and proactive communication from both the public agency and the contractors. For contractors engaged in publicly funded projects, the call for transparency is loud and clear. The public has a right to know how their money is being spent. However, navigating this demand requires a delicate balancing act. Revealing every minor setback or internal debate could cause undue public alarm or be misconstrued. Contractors and public agencies must thoughtfully consider what information is truly in the public interest to share. While openness is key, contractors are also commercial entities operating within a competitive marketplace. Disclosing too much granular detail about their internal cost structures or specific profit margins could weaken their negotiating position. The technical nature of construction means that details can be easily misinterpreted by a non-technical audience. A necessary design modification might be portrayed in a negative light, perceived as a costly error rather than a prudent response to new information. This risk of misinterpretation can lead to unfair criticism, damaging the reputation of both the contractor and the public agency. The cumulative effect of constant public scrutiny can take a toll on the morale of the entire construction team. While public accountability is essential, it is equally important that this scrutiny is fair, well-informed, and acknowledges the inherent complexities of ambitious construction endeavours. Fortifying the foundations, advanced planning and realistic budgeting. We have spent a good amount of time understanding why construction projects so often exceed their budgets. The good news is that these issues are not insurmountable. Solutions often begin long before any physical construction work starts. The critical first step lies in dedicating sufficient time and resources to thorough pre-construction planning. Investing properly in this early phase is not an expense, it is a crucial investment. This careful groundwork can save enormous amounts of money and prevent significant headaches later on. Thorough pre-construction planning involves conducting comprehensive feasibility studies, detailed site investigations, and an accurate definition of the project scope. Engaging all key stakeholders early in this process is vital. Achieving realistic budgeting requires using better, more reliable data and sophisticated estimating tools. Realistic budgets must build in sensible allowances for design development and minor scope changes. The role of independent reviews and industry benchmarking cannot be overstated. Consider having initial estimates, project plans, and risk assessments reviewed by impartial third-party experts. Comparing proposed costs against established industry benchmarks offers another layer of validation. This external scrutiny helps identify overly optimistic assumptions or overlooked risks before they become embedded in the project's baseline budget. Mastering uncertainty, proactive risk management, and contingency. Even with the best planning, construction is an inherently risky business. The solution is to actively and systematically manage these risks. Proactive risk management should be viewed as an ongoing, dynamic process throughout the project lifecycle. A robust risk management process involves systematic risk identification, thorough risk analysis, and developing specific mitigation strategies. Ownership for managing each risk must be clearly assigned. Contingency funds are carefully calculated financial reserves set aside to cover the costs of known unknowns and unforeseen events. The amount of contingency should be estimated methodically, with clear rules for when and how they can be accessed. Risk management must be adaptive, with regular risk review meetings to reassess existing risks and track the effectiveness of mitigation strategies. This continuous adaptive approach allows the project team to stay ahead of potential issues and make informed, timely decisions. Regular risk review meetings provide a forum to identify new risks, reassess existing ones, and track the effectiveness of mitigation strategies. Are our actions working as intended? Do we need to adjust our approach? This continuous adaptive approach allows the project team to stay ahead of potential issues. Making informed, timely decisions when risks materialize is crucial. Rather than reacting in crisis mode, Proactive risk management ensures a smoother project execution. One of the significant underlying issues we've touched upon is the often adversarial relationship that can develop between clients and contractors. Traditional contracting models, especially those that rely heavily on awarding work to the lowest bidder, can create an versus them mentality. To improve project outcomes and control costs, we need a paradigm shift towards more collaborative approaches. Collaborative contracting models such as integrated project delivery (IPD) and alliancing contracts encourage early contractor involvement and foster open communication. These models promote joint problem solving and align the commercial interests of all parties towards achieving overall project objectives. Effective communication and expectation management with all stakeholders are paramount, especially for publicly funded projects. Establish transparent and regular communication channels from the project's inception. Educate stakeholders about the inherent complexities of construction and the rationale behind certain decisions. This builds trust, manages expectations, and fosters a more supportive project environment. Even with the best collaborative intentions, disagreements can still arise. Having fair, efficient, and less adversarial dispute resolution mechanisms built into the contract is crucial. Options like structured negotiation, mediation by a neutral third party, or expert determination can resolve issues quickly and cost-effectively. The aim is to resolve disputes in a way that preserves working relationships and keeps the project moving forward. Getting bogged down in legal battles over every issue benefits no one. It only adds to delays and costs, hindering project success. As we look for robust solutions, we must also turn our gaze towards the future and the transformative potential of technology and innovation. These can play a hugely significant role in improving cost certainty, schedule reliability, and overall project efficiency. It is time for the construction industry to fully embrace these advancements. The potential benefits in terms of better outcomes and fewer budget overruns are simply too substantial to ignore. It is about fundamentally changing how we plan, design, and build, ultimately working smarter, not just harder, to deliver value. Throughout our discussion, we have journeyed deep into the often frustrating world of construction budget overruns. We started by acknowledging the shocking reality that so many projects, from small home renovations to massive public infrastructures, end up costing significantly more than initially planned. My aim as Daryna, with over 15 years in this industry, was to pull back the curtain and help you understand the intricate reasons behind these persistent financial challenges. We explored how this is not a simple issue with a single cause, but rather a complex interplay of various factors that compound upon each other, creating a difficult maze for all involved parties to navigate successfully. Understanding this full spectrum of causes, from initial planning flaws to execution pressures and external scrutiny, is the essential first step before we can truly hope to implement effective and lasting solutions to this widespread industry problem. Construction projects often exceed budgets, but this isn't inevitable. Clear strategies can lead to better outcomes. Commitment to change and proactive planning are key. Invest in detailed pre-construction activities and realistic budgeting. Embrace data-driven estimating and risk management, foster collaboration and use innovative technologies. By adopting these principles, we can achieve on-budget projects. Thank you for watching and see you in the next one.